Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 62 of the Paddle Talk Podcast, brought to you, as always, by Racing in the Dirt out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. Joining me tonight, Damian Bowers, Caleb Mings, Dave Applegate. Glad to have you along, everybody. And just a reminder, 2025 is here. Race season almost upon us. We're actually going to talk about some racing tonight. So that means it is not too late to call Racing in the Dirt. 920-693-2000. Call them today. Get your 2025 race season off to a great start. And speaking of great starts, Dave Applegate was there. We're talking the Just Add Dirt Motorsports Complex race that Ken Donaldson was kind of putting together and helping to put on this past weekend down in Satsuma, Florida. Dave Applegate, you were on site. Give us the rundown, buddy. What do you got?
Well, it was great to be back there again. I was there 3 years ago and had a great time, and had a really good time again at this event. Friday it was Valentine's Day, so it wasn't as crowded as we was hoping. And I think the Daytona was going on as well, so there was a lot of stuff going on, and I believe there was a county fair or something was going on with the county out there. So we didn't get to the crowd we expected, but it was still very good. Friday night they did the gas truck. They called it gas truck, which was your street guys, a lot of street guys. And they did that, and then we did test and tune for all the faster rides. Um, and Friday night we had, I believe there was 16 or 18 of the gas trucks, and I've got the paper in front of me here. Um,
Dave, is
our
that a heads
winner,
up class?
I'm sorry.
Were they run that class heads up or a bracket?
It was heads up, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
It was
Nice.
heads up.
Nice.
And I would they didn't write the times down on here, but there was a couple of them, man, they were pretty impressive now. But you could tell the ones that had done it before because you could watch them leave and see their tires were real low on air pressure. And the other ones that weren't low on air pressure wasn't going very far. So maybe I let a little secret out of the bag there for the guys that are just starting out. But anyways, I did not get the second place guy, but the winner it looks like was Wesleyan Flynn. It was $20 to enter, and Just Add Dirt put in 100. And I didn't even tell you guys this, but we, as World Sand Drag News, put $100 in too. So the winner got $200.
Nice.
So we did that for them. They were a great group of young men that just very sportsmanship. They had a couple. I watched a couple of them where his buddy didn't leave at the right time, and they stopped and backed up and did it again. Ken was fine with it. The track owner was fine with it. They did it quickly. It was really good watching them guys get out there and not doing it on the street and doing it on the dirt because most of them were young, and they did a great job. And again, then we went to test and tune for the fast guys after that. And then we spent the night, had a good time, and we started in on Saturday. So
Now,
Saturday,
one thing before we go on to Saturday, there was a grudge race there on Friday, wasn't there, between you and Ken?
no, no,
Oh, okay. Now it's not a grudge race.
no. So I don't want to say too much because Ken's not here with us tonight, but there's a rumor going around, I guess, that it was a race or it was a grudge race or something. It wasn't. It most definitely was not, to be honest. It was just a test and tune. And we pulled up, and Ken will get me back for this, but I think Ken was eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and dessert.
I had
The
talked to
whole
him
time.
Sunday. He said he gave you the hit on purpose.
He didn't give me no hit. I never asked for no hit. Never asked for a hit. Absolutely not. I mean, let's face it, the Ken's truck's faster than me. We know that.
Oh yeah, the
He
track
just,
equalized it out a lot, though. It was a good race.
I seen the light. I let go. My car went sideways. His went a little sideways, and off we went. And It was a very close at the end, and 200 feet, obviously, you don't have much time to make up any room. If he had another 20 feet, he'd have been around me for sure. But that's how it went. That was no grudge. I never got to hit, never asked for the hit. I've heard all this stuff. That's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Hey,
So
either way, it looked fun.
it was fun. And I didn't even know that the video, somebody posted it, and I think Billy said that he seen it, and Billy grabbed it, put it on there, and I'm walking around the pits, and somebody came up to me and said, "Man, you guys got like 3,000 hits already." And I'm like, "Well, for what?" I didn't even know what it was. So it was cool. It was neat to see it. Anytime you can run Ken in his truck and have a small block forward blown alcohol next to you, buzzing right along, it's just fantastic. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was fantastic. So then that was that night. Now, well, to be honest with you, the very next run I had to run Jay Coons for Test and Tune, and I did the same thing as Ken. Jay's car usually runs like 14s, and I'm been 380s, and I couldn't catch him. I was late on the late light and
Not
couldn't catch
enough
him.
room to catch him on the big end with a 200-foot
Nope,
track.
nope. And Jay was just a grinning ear to ear, like, "Hey, how you doing?" But we had a really good time that night. It was a lot of fun. So then we got up in the morning and we started figuring out what we're doing, how many people came in, and they decided to do 2 consistency classes. The guys got together and wanted to do that, and then we had a bracket. Um, Unfortunately, mine broke. I broke a belt and also broke the clutch, so I was
Oof.
out, which was good. I was able to do a lot of videos and pictures and stuff, which I still got to get to Caleb. But anyways, some of this paper I don't have, but I can tell you consistency 1, it looks like Stephen Dennis, I believe if I say that correct. The difference between his 2 runs, I made 2 passes, was 0.022.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Oh, it gets real good Saturday later on. And the runner up was Andrew Murphy, I believe, with a 0.027.
For a
No,
guy
pretty
that's never
close.
bracket raced till he went to your race in Georgia, that man is getting with it.
Oh my
So
God.
Dave, what was the difference between the 2 consistency classes? Did they have like a split on like vehicle type or how quick they were?
Nope, they wanted to do 2. Um, like I said, the count was down, so we didn't have a whole lot of vehicles. So they all decided to add another $50 in and make another one. And the track
Gotcha.
owner and Ken said, "Yeah, let's do it. Why not?"
More
So,
passes, more fun.
yep, and that's what they did. So, and the cool thing is the 3rd place, Damian, you're going to like this. Now they didn't give out 3rd place, but was Maddie, and I think I'm saying her last name, Roller, the old yellow Bronco. She had a 0.030. So the first 3 were very tight in consistency 1.
Nice.
So they did really well. That was a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, we did have some timing issues, so everybody was running in the right lane, which was best, really, if you think about it. Everybody's in the same lane. For consistency, I think it's probably makes better sense.
Oh, yeah.
Then, and then we go to consistency 2. This is where this was the talk of the night. And I got to tell you, if anybody has any questions about what I'm getting ready to say, all you got to do is ask me, and I will take a picture and I will send this to you. Our first place guy was Stephen Dennis again. He ran a 3.568 first run. Second run, 3.569. He had 0.001.
Whoa.
Wow.
So obviously
It's hard
that's
to
hard to
beat
beat.
there.
And
Yeah,
then
that's getting with it.
number 2 was Larry LaRue, I believe it is. And he had a truck called Mid Red or Mild Red, which I had on our live feed there for a while. He ran a 3.473 and a 3.468 0.005.
Wow.
So first and second, 001, 005. And it gets better. If you want to do that or go online, third, they did do a third if they would have. They called him Big Mike, it looks like. His .014. The next guy in line, .019. I mean, it was amazing. These guys, I was kind of glad mine broke because if I'd have went in the bracket, I'd have been done. So it was really cool to see, man. And then we got in the bracket. Now, most of you that are watching has probably already seen what happened in the finals of our bracket race with Mr. Ken Donaldson and Andrew Murphy. Now, Damian, sorry, I dropped something. Damian had mentioned Andrew Murphy here a minute ago about at my race at South Georgia Motorsports Park late last year. Andrew had never bracket raced. He didn't know the first thing how to do it. I know TJ Mack talked to him. I know I talked to him. I think Ken talked to him about multiple guys, tried to explain it to him, and he won the event. He won $1,850 at this first event. He comes here, wins one of the consistency classes, and wins the bracket race again.
Nice.
And he was at Cobbtown. I think he went to Cobbtown with Ken. Don't quote me on that. I think he did pretty well there. So in the first 3 brackets, he's won 2.
Nice.
So if you go up against the Intimidator, it's a perfect name for his truck. I think it's called the Intimidator. You better be ready. But anyways, so Ken Donaldson, right before Ken goes to make his run, and I'm sure that hopefully we'll have a little picture or a little video of this on our podcast. Caleb, I believe you can make that happen. I decided to take my phone and put on his back roll cage. And I had zip ties on it, man, everywhere. I had it all zipped. Ken's like, "Is that going to fall off?" And I honestly said, "Well, it's my work phone. So if it falls off, I'll just tell him it broke. I don't know." So, so he goes out, and then I went down to the big end and was using my personal phone. And yeah, it got pretty wild. It looked as though the right tire was maybe in some decent dirt and the left tire wasn't or something. And it was a bucking Bronco to say the least. So, so that let Andrew Murphy get the win. And it was a great night. Fans loved it. They had somebody in the stands with some kind of I don't know if it was a chicken suit or I don't know what it was. This guy was running up and down. He was throwing stuff out, and they had some vendors there that was handing decals out. Of course, we handed many of World Sand Drag News out decals. When my belt broke, I went up in the stands and handed my belt to the first kid I seen to find out later that that little boy was running up and down the stands going, "Who wants a whooping?" and was slinging my belt around. So I was told by many people, "Don't give another broken belt out to the kids in the stands." I'm like, all right. So yeah, I'm not sure about that, but great time, man. It really was. Ken did a great job. It was very hectic for Ken. Mark, the owner, who was fantastic with the track, was, between him and Mark trying to keep the show going. They had a really good crowd on Saturday night, and then the timing system had a problem. We tried. So what we did is while we were trying to fix the timing system, we let the street guys come back out, and they grudge raced for an hour or better. And it was back to back. I have no idea how many times these guys went up down that track, but it was a blast. So it was a good show. I feel it went really well. And congratulations to Ken and the owner, Mark, for putting on a really great show.
Awesome, man. It sounds good. I mean, I think I can speak for myself, Caleb, and Damian, and all 3 of us say, if there had been a way for us to get there, I think all of us would have gone. It sounds like an excellent race.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Looked like a cool
Damian,
facility too. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I know we didn't really talk too much about that. I know we talked about it on the like intro for this last week, but really cool facility. I mean, you did the live series scan across the crowd and stuff, the grandstands that they had there. Like, seemed like a cool place.
It is very cool. Damian, before we let this go real quick, can you help me out with Maddie's old Bronco? You know more about that to me. There was a lot of cool stuff there, but Maddie, we had the guys from Puerto Rico too that I cannot pronounce their names. I'm sorry. That was really neat to see them guys. and the young boy come up during my, when I was doing live, and
Yeah.
he spoke English. I could hear him perfectly. The other guys, I just couldn't quite catch it. So, but can you go over that yellow Bronco real quick for us? Because
The
hopefully we can maybe get a picture of that up. But that thing was just old school and really cool.
Sweet Thunder, I believe, was the name on the side of it.
Yes.
I've seen Bronco or photos of that Bronco as far back as the early '90s at Bloomsburg. Ran in the era of TNN on the NMR on an NMRO and whatnot. I believe it's been on TV a time or two. It probably ran indoors at the time. And it's an old Bronco, and it's not the only old vehicle that was there either that's fast. George Hattersley's old Undone Jeep is back in the States. Apparently, it was the Red Willie's funny car Jeep that was there as well. And then you also had Gaddafi there. The Pietris had 3 vehicles there, and all of them wild rides.
Oh my God, yes. Yes, they were. I had to run one. I ran one of them in time runs, and he got loose. He got loose, and I got around him, but it was the only reason because he got loose and had to get out of it. But them boys, if they could have got them things to go straight, holy cow. As a matter of fact, Damian, go ahead. I've got some ETs on them guys somewhere.
But no, the Gaddafi Jeep, apparently they've made some changes. Last time I remember seeing them out was with that Jeep was for the race in Newtown, and it was running in the 3.332 range on the regular at that point.
Whoo!
They are spraying a ton of nitrous down the gullet of that thing. For a long time, it was the fastest car in Puerto Rico.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a
talk-
big step then.
And if you watch
Consistency.
Dave's live stream, the wheel speed on that thing is insane.
Yes, it is. It reminds me of Rick Ensing's funny car look when he takes off. Just right now. Lewis, is it Petit? I can't pronounce her last name. I'm
Pietri?
sorry. Yeah,
Is it
and
Pietri?
but yes, the one they had ran a 275 with a 3.
I
And
believe that
keep in mind,
probably would have been the maroon Jeep.
yeah, but there was another one. I don't know where it's at, but I think one of them ran a 240.
Wow.
Yeah,
They, yeah,
they never really made a full hit, and none of them made a full hit. I know Ken Donaldson ran a 271. Both them other cars was no, that was this one. It went a 275. That's right, 275. Mine went a 283. I think we were the only 3 that made it in the twos. But man, if them guys get it, oh my God, them cars will be ungodly fast.
definitely.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right.
thanks for going
Fantastic.
over that for us. Yes.
Are they going to now? I believe when Ken was on, he said they're already kind of looking at scheduling this race again for a year from now.
Yes. Yes. And next year they are considering doing the 4-wheelers.
All right.
Nice.
It looked like a good consistency of track for the 4-wheelers where it wouldn't try and rip handlebars out of your hands.
Yeah, no. No.
All right.
It's
So that being said, all you Southeast US wingdingers, there's a big race coming for you in 2026. Anything else to wrap up the event then?
at this time, not right now. I know that Ken is talking to Mark about track condition. Track was fine. It's a little bit hard, but you got to remember they do a lot of tractor pulls there. So that's their money is the tractor pulls,
Yep.
not the dirt drags. So they're considering doing a little bit something different with the track. I don't want to say yet because it's not my place, but hopefully it'll work out what they're thinking about. If you was to go to this race, 60 foot is okay, but once you get past that, hang on, because a lot of cars past 60 foot or just at, we're toting the front wheels. Not a lot, but just a little bit off the ground. So it's just a little bit hard packed. That's the only problem with the track, just a touch on the hard pack. But other than that, fantastic time, great crowd.
All right. Fantastic. All right. So that is our wrap up of the Satsuma, Florida race. here from last weekend. And just a reminder, this segment brought to you by our friends at Racing in the Dirt in Cleveland, Wisconsin. Find them at racinginthedirt.com, their Racing in the Dirt Facebook page, or you can call them the old-fashioned way. Area code 920-693-2000. That's Racing in the Dirt. From wheels, tires, full turnkey rides, you name it, ready to help you, whether it's dirt, mud, sand, or even snow. Leading into our next segment here, they are ready to help you and help your ride get your 2025 race season off to a great start and offer the support you need throughout the race season as well. That's Racing in the Dirt. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Paddle Talk Podcast, the only podcast dedicated to all things sand, mud, dirt racing, you name it. This is a place to find it. And this episode is brought to you by our friends at Racing in the Dirt in Cleveland, Wisconsin. They are ready to help you get your 2025 race season off to a great start and with the support to help you all through the season. So contact them by phone, area code 920-693-2000, or you can find them on the Racing in the Dirt Facebook page or at their website, racinginthedirt.com. That's Racing in the Dirt. All right, guys. So we are on to the next topic. Southeast DOT Series. Mr. BT Summers joining us this evening. Thanks for coming on, sir. I am joined by Damian Bowers, Dave Applegate, and Caleb Mings. And we're talking about this because Dave Applegate is going to be at this race next weekend. That's the February 28th, March 1st weekend, for those of you wondering, depending on when you're watching this. All right, BT Summers, what should a person expect coming to this first race?
Man, I just want first of all to thank y'all for having us on here. We appreciate it, and we just expect some fast heads up, side by side dirt racing, I guess you can say. Off the tree, flat line, 200 foot, some of the fastest trucks, South Carolina, North Carolina. Got some hopefully coming out of Mississippi and Texas, just some super fast trucks in the little series we run down here. It's just gonna be some fun. Couple classes and a big consistency class we're gonna run. So basically anybody can come run. You ain't gotta be in the series to win the race or win the money. As long as you fit the rules, we'll get you in there and get you racing, man. It's a lot
like
going
it,
on
man.
every race.
Yeah, and I want to touch on something we were kind of talking on off camera. You said something that I'd love to hear. Less rules, more racers. You try to keep your rule package simple and keep it to a minimum.
Yes,
Give
sir.
us a couple of the classes you guys normally run down there.
All right. One of our biggest classes has been over the last couple of years is the small block class. It's a 0 to 36-inch DOT tire, not cut, regular stock tire. Factory firewall, factory body, full body. It's got to have factory style suspension. No sheet metal intakes or nothing like that. And that's about it. Windshields, safety gear, factory style frame, suspension. Got to have a small block and let it eat, man. It's just like there's 7-8 much rules in there. And most of our classes we run off tire size. Next classes will be our small tire class, a 38 and half down class. So,
I'm sorry, man. You said small tire and then you said 38 and a half and down.
Yeah.
To a guy that literally runs a set of 28-inch casing scoops, a 38 and a half inch down just seems like it's an enormous tire to me. But
yeah, that's like most I feel. I got baby tires on the front of my truck and it's 34s and a half. So.
Jesus.
So.
Bigger than the rear ones on my Jeep.
Yeah.
Now most of these classes, if I remember right, BT is 4-wheel drive only. Is that correct?
Well, no, not really. We don't have stipulations don't say that. We kind of changed. We had that the 4-wheel drive, but we kind of we want to open it up a little bit. Maybe some of that consistency class. The biggest thing is it's got to look like a truck. That's for our open class. We don't want no rails. But there's no stipulation on 4-wheel drive. So if you can get in, because we went away from the bog holes. That was one of the reasons we had that. Cause we used to run some bog holes, and if you didn't have 4-wheel drive, you was in a bad predicament.
Yeah, no doubt. My goodness. All right, Dave Applegate, how many classes would you like to run?
Well, first of all, when I went there last year for the first time, how do I say this? Oh, got it. Hospitality that I had from all those guys was amazing. Like they joked with me, they kidded with me because I was the only side by side there. Well, let me rephrase that. I was the only side by side that was in any of the events. There was other side by sides there pulling the trucks back and whatnot, but and they were like, "What are you doing here with a two-wheel drive side by side?" I'm like, I just let me give it a shot, and they did. We had an absolute blast, and great group of guys, and they get these belts that they pass off on one on another. And BT, we'll get to that in a
Yeah.
second. If you can explain that to us here in a second. They've got quite a few classes, although I personally don't fit in the majority of the classes. Actually, I think the only thing would be consistency and
Yeah, the open.
the unlimited or the open. That would be it. But even at that, if there wasn't anyone there, BT, Rhett, and some of the other guys said, "Hey, if there's nothing here, man, you are more welcome to go out in between rounds and make a couple hits." They were
Yeah.
fantastic about that. And they tried to get me to go through the mud hole later that night, and I said no. So, but man, that's such the cool thing. You go there, and you can drag race, and then you go or watch either way, and then you go over and watch them hit the mud, and it's just a great time. Really good crowd. I don't know how many people were there at that last one, but my guess 1,500, 2,000 people, wouldn't you think, BT?
Wow.
Yeah, that was a pretty good crowd for that one. Yeah, that was a night race also, so that was a pretty good one.
Yes, it was. So BT, tell
Well,
us about the belts, if you would.
Yeah, we started this thing probably I think this is our 8th year, I believe, and we give like WWE championship belts away. We get a sponsor for each class, and I I got one. So if I get my daughter to go get it, but Bransley, go grab that belt out my room.
And
But
they give this away throughout the year, if I remember right. Like if
yeah,
say
you get if you win the race, you get it every race you win, and you carry it to the next race, and it swaps hands, and whoever wins the championship at the end of the year takes the belt home.
That's cool.
I love it,
it
man.
was
That's
it,
awesome.
it was really cool, and I didn't know what was going on. I knew the one guy had his belt sitting on his hood. I did an interview with him for World Sand Drag News, as a
Yeah,
matter of fact. I didn't realize what was going on. Well, later that night, I think it was a guy in a Jeep, a gray or blue Jeep. I don't remember. Anyways, he ended up winning. And I seen him carrying this belt around, and these people going, "Yeah, I got the belt." And he's running around. I'm like, "Holy shit, what the hell's going on?" It was a blast. It was a great time. If you're in the area, anywhere around South Carolina, even parts of Georgia, actually, BT, there might be a couple guys coming up from Florida I've been talking to. There's the belt.
that's when I
Oh,
won
love it.
the small block championship belt.
There you go. Well,
That's
BT,
cool.
we were talking. You were saying trying to get Dave to go in the mud there. You were mentioning off camera as well before we were recording that you've got different events. Some are flat track stuff, kind of what we call fast track. Other places,
Yep.
and then some races are pits. So for this first race, is it a combo? Is it one or the other?
No, this race is flat track racing. It'll be off the tree drag racing. Fastest man to the other end wins. And then we'll come back and we run let me see, let me get my schedule here. Because we run in Cobbtown, Georgia also, and that'll be we run a flat track at my track in Branchville, and we run the one that Dave went to last year, that flat track at Palmetto.
Mm-hmm.
And then we run 2 flat tracks in Cobbtown, Georgia, and then we come back to Branchville and run our mud holes, and then go back to Palmetto and run a mud hole to finish the season off. And we take your top 6 scores out the race, 5 races, yeah, your top 5 scores. So if you miss a race, your top 5 races go to the end of the year total to see where you stand at.
And then
As far
Gotcha.
as like
with the
points
mention
go.
of Cobbtown, that is a famous track in the mud racing world. Used to have pro bad nationals. MRA used to go there all the time. Texas Mud Drags is going there this year. It's a
September,
track
yeah.
notorious for a lot of hook.
Yep, it's fast. I run my fastest time I've ever run in my truck was at Cobbtown. So, yeah, it's fast there. It's a good track.
BT, what are the other classes you have besides the two classes we mentioned already?
All right, we run besides a small tire, which y'all thought that I guess y'all don't think that's small tire. We run a big tire class, which is basically the same rules as a small block, except a small block. It's a 0 to 44-inch tire class, full body, but you can run a 4-link suspension in that, a 3-link, and you can alter your firewall, but it's a 0 to 44-inch tire class. And then our super fast one is the outlaw class, which basically it no rails, must look like a truck, DOT cut tires, run what you brung.
I like it, man.
That's awesome.
And then
Paging Michael McCord for
Yep.
the outlaw class.
Be
So-
interested to see that twin turbo truck on some cuts,
Yeah,
It's Ben.
especially with what he's teasing right now. He just posted he's got a new combo coming for the engine.
True.
So BT, when you guys are measuring tires, and again, us guys that you're talking to right now, we're not all familiar with all these different tire sizes as big, so it's a little bit different for most of us here. When you measure them, because I see a lot of the 4-wheel drive guys run smaller tires that are front, so I'm assuming you're
Yes.
going to measure the largest tire on the vehicle. Is that correct?
yep, the largest tire on the vehicle. We don't
Okay.
we go by the DOT tire size on it. You know what I mean? We don't, because a 35-inch tire don't measure but like 33.5 inches. So
Yep.
yeah.
So just whatever's on the sidewall, that's what it
That's what we
is.
run. Yep.
And there you go.
The biggest tire on truck. And then we added a new class this year. We call it the open mod, but it's basically a run whatever you got, and it's all off consistency. So you ain't gotta be the fastest.
And is that
thing in the world.
one, is that also a DOT class, or is that open
Yeah.
tire?
That's everything ours is DOT. Just can't
Gotcha.
have a scoop. It can be cut or uncut in that class, but you just can't run no cuts or scoops.
Hey, Damian, do they make any DOT paddle tires I can put on my side-by-side for this race?
And I've played this in the past when there's been talk of DOT lists up here. I was like, if you don't specify it, I'll go get a set of 35-inch cheater slicks that have a DOT number and
There
have
you
scoops vulcanized to them.
Yeah. But if we get somebody that comes and shows, like Dave said, we'll fit you in somewhere. We'll let you run and get some passes. That'll be no problem.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, a consistency class, the tire doesn't make as big a
That's right.
difference. It's when you're doing this heads up stuff, the tire makes the big difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's
We
a
was
hell
trying
of
to
a
stick
show.
with the DOT deal, DOT collect series. We was trying to stick with a DOT tire. So
Yeah.
Right.
It's a hell of a show. I'll tell you that. They do a great job. Great job.
What's a quick for your what I'd say your entry level class is? What's a quick 200-foot time for that class?
our small blocks on the 36s is running 3.4, 3.5 on DOTs.
That's moving, man.
That's pretty stout. Now I
Yep.
don't know if they'll run it I don't know if they'll run it in Branchville now. They probably run a little slower because it's a little tackier, but
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
we got some pretty quick trucks. So
Yeah.
So
No
that
doubt.
class
Speaking of just like what it takes to go and run this and stuff, like what are you guys' entry fees kind of payout that people can expect?
we got right now we got the tracks pay in each race, so we got added money already, and it's $150 to get into series, and then I think it's $50 entry for the race, each race, and all the entry monies, and we got sponsors to pay back at the end of the year. So it probably paid $2,000, $1,500, $2,000 each class back the first place and
Ooh.
on down. It
Pretty
pays
good.
decent.
Nice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What's your typical class size? Just off the top of your head, I mean, we talking like 6 truck class, or are we talking like 15 trucks?
I mean, I'd say a good class is 8 to 10 trucks.
Okay, that's pretty good, man. That's really good.
Oh, yeah, that's good. I think I got, but see, I got a list in that open class right now. I got 17 names in that thing.
Wow.
Ooh,
So if you
there you
think
go.
$150 an entry, that's going to pay out pretty good
Definitely.
at the end of the year. So
You
Yeah,
might
no
as well
doubt.
make that. You might as well make that 18 if I'm allowed. So don't
there you go.
put
Oh,
my
there
name
we
on
go.
there.
All right. So Dave is going to be on site here next weekend. Dave, for the whole weekend then?
Yes. Yeah, I'll be there the whole time and help these guys out. As like I say, racing wise, we don't know till we get there and see what happens. I'm not worried about it. It's an hour away. If I don't get the car out, not a big deal. I'm there to help these guys. Whatever they need, they ask me, I'm there to help. So we're going to do videos. We'll be doing some interviews. You guys, definitely catch up next weekend there and watch out. We'll be doing some interviews with these guys and getting good pictures and all that good stuff as well.
Fantastic. BT, I give you the task of finding somebody that's willing to grudge race Dave 2 out of 3 on whatever tire he shows up with.
I mean, I'll try him. He's got to give me a little something though, but I'll try him.
Oh, here we go.
Just
Dave,
just BT, go off of your truck lengths, not his.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh
Definitely.
man. All right, BT, I'm going to give you the last word. You probably got some sponsors you want to thank and anything else somebody would want to know before coming out to your series.
Yeah, man, I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate y'all having me on again. But check us out. It's Branchville Mud Balls where we'll be racing that next week. It's right down here in Branchville, South Carolina. On Facebook, Branchville Mud Ball. And we just check out. We got some sponsors with Johnny Martin Well Drilling and All About Mud. And just check us out this weekend, man. Southeast DOT Series on Facebook, and check us out tomorrow night between the pits. We'll be live podcast off DOT Series site, and I hope Dave will be on there with us. So we'll see. Y'all just check us out and tune in. And like I say, appreciate y'all having us, man. And we hope to see y'all next weekend. Excuse me.
Awesome. No, man, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. And that's going to wrap things up. Damian, take us out.
Damian.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I get it. We're both wearing the same shirt, so it's okay. Hey guys, want to make sure you guys check out worldsandragnews.com. Check on our photo tab. We've got tons of photos up there from races many years ago to races here for the 2025 season. We just got the PSDA Arizona ATV Nationals uploaded. Check out all those photos. Make sure you go on there and buy a few digital downloads or some print ones. It's a great way to help support us and do more coverage and things like this about the sport of sand, dirt, and mud drag racing.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the Paddle Talk Podcast, sponsored by Racing in the Dirt out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. Find them on the web or on Facebook, or you can call them 920-693-2000 from Real Wheels, cut tires, turnkey builds, rolling chassis, enclosed chain drives, you name it, they're ready. Whether you race dirt, mud, sand, or snow, or something even in between, they're ready, willing, and able to give you a hand with your 2025 race season. So give them a call, find them on the web, or shoot them a message through Facebook. Scott, Shane, and the crew ready to help you out for 2025. That's Racing in the Dirt out of Cleveland, Wisconsin. All right, so we're going to talk a little upcoming event here. We talked earlier about our friends at the DOT Southeast DOT Series, which Dave Applegate's going to be at next weekend and the following weekend. So 2 weeks out, this would be March 7 and 8. I will be in Florence, Wisconsin. And what's in Florence, Wisconsin, you may say? Well, I hear there's either a Kroger or Piggly Wiggly, depending on who you ask. But there's also a ski slope, the Keys Peak uphill truck drags. Shuttles to and from Florence. This is going to be on the snow hill, the regular ski snow hill, and heads up side by side truck drag. So, gentlemen, what do we think?
I will say this every single time that I see the Keys Peak drags, it is definitely a bucket list event that I'd like to attend. Seems a little bit chilly. I'm not very used to that frozen stuff out here in California, but man, do they have some very quick trucks. And I think the coolest thing about it is because you're in the snow and it's an uphill course, that's the great equalizer. You get all sorts of very fast trucks that are struggling for traction with all sorts of different tire combinations.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I am prepared for a lot of insane wheel speed. Dave was talking about that at the last race of wheel speed. Safe to say that snow hill climb equals lots of wheel speed, without a doubt. Damian Bowers, I know you wish the Jeep was going. Thoughts?
It's going to be crazy. There's a lot of big power cars that haven't been there. There's a lot of big cars going back. Last year's Unlimited Class winner, I believe, is going to be going back with his Kryptonite Jeep. It's not the only car going to be named Kryptonite there, but our current A Sport modified mile per hour record holder, Jason Benson, with his Pro Charged Kryptonite Jeep, should be there. You should see Todd Bilesma with the Wine Time Jeep, our ET record with A Sport Mod and A Sport Mod 4-wheel drive. The Coolidges, and Caleb seen this at the finale for the MRA out in Steelville, Missouri, I believe it was the new Kryptonite Dodge Dakota that the Coolidges bought last year. They're looking to have that at Keys Peak from what I've been seeing on Facebook. And then,
Oh, wow. That's going to be cool.
oh yeah, that's going to be a wild ride. Probably a lot of racing in the dirt products on that one. Ryan Kerr and Dan Sizemore will probably be piloting it in the two separate classes with the Swamp Donkey from down here, twin turbo LS combination. And then Nick DeBoer. There's so many others down the list. Last year, they had these, I believe it was the Scream Bronco of Racing in the Dirt that they put together for a customer, and they took and ran it in the open class, big nitrous motored car. So many different combinations, and sometimes it's not even the biggest power car that ends up taking the win, because even with those staggered bigger diggers, going straight is not a given.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not. No, that's true. No Michael McCord, but will we see? Inquiring minds want to know. So if somebody else knows something, feel free to chime in. But hopefully, going to see Jason Vanderwall with possibly a little bit of a tweaked combo coming out with his Hysteria Colorado as well. Possibly even bringing the Foolin Blazer up with him as well to run the street truck class.
That's a monster.
Absolutely. It should be, it's fixing to be an excellent race. And it's really turned into kind of what I'm going to say is kind of the winter slash spring edition of the Hayfield Shootout, because it feels like there's a bunch of stuff we don't normally see during the summertime that just comes out of the woodwork for this race. So,
And it also may be a bit of a preview for the first two races of the Texas Mud Drag Series of some of the cars that are going to come out for the Door Slammer class.
absolutely. Dave Applegate, would you run your car on the hill if you had the chance?
I might. I mean, it looks like it'd be a blast. I just don't have a clutch cover, so I probably wouldn't go very far. The snow would get in the clutch and the belt would slip, and I'd probably get 10 feet, and everybody'd be laughing, and I'd have to roll back down the hill.
I've seen some rudimentary clutch covers in my day. I'm sure you could whip something up. So
It probably could, but I do got a question, and it sounds like Damian's very familiar with that place. For those that don't know, including myself, what's the length of the track? How long's the hill? And what kind of steep angle are we looking at? What's the angle?
It's not exactly the steepest of hills, but the snow makes up for that quite a bit. But it's around a 300 to 400 foot climb, I believe.
Wow, nice. Now, when they do that, is it just whatever Mother Nature gives them, whatever snow's there, or do they do something with the snow so that it's consistent? How do they go about that?
So there are snow cannons there to make snow, and I believe they have a couple of Bearcats to do some
Grooming.
as well. Actually, since we're talking about it, and I actually got a text here not long ago, we're gonna have somebody, either Ray Mills or possibly Ray Mills and Matt Willis on with us next week to give us all the inside details on what's going to happen for the weekend. So looking forward to that, and really they can kind of flesh out, what's going on and everything else. But we kind of wanted to give the 2 week heads up that, hey, this is where we're going, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I don't know really what to tell you as far as steepness, Dave. I know in the past that hill has been like 400 foot. I mean, it's long. It is you can really get motoring up that thing, if you got
It's
the momentum going.
it's
Well,
definitely not. Oh, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
that's okay. I would like to definitely see it, but well, I tell you what, down South Carolina, man, it's always nice and warm, and man, I don't know. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could take it up there. I'm not sure anymore.
You and the
Get a
Eskimos,
heater
Dave. You and the
installed.
Eskimos.
Yeah,
Hey, you're from Ohio.
yeah, but that's been 8, 9 years I've been down here, so I'm a little bit spoiled now. But although I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina right now, they're supposed to get a whopping 1 inch tomorrow. So
Ooh,
yeah, yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
yeah. All right. All right. So, guys, anything else on our very, very early Keys Peak preview before we throw it over to Caleb for our wrap?
I do have one real quick one. Is
Yeah.
it just is it four-wheelers? Is it just trucks? What all are they allowed to
No,
go up
it
there?
is just trucks.
Okay.
Just trucks. Well, I can kind of I'll give you some classes here a second. Class A is basically street trucks. Class B is similar street trucks with some gutting allowed. Class C is open street, which is a class that like Jason Vanderwall runs the Poolin truck in. Fully streetable, but that's about the only rule. This is some big, big blocks and a whole bunch of spray you see coming on in that. And then Class D is any chassis, no power adder, any tire. E is any chassis, power adder, okay. DOTs only. And then they have Class F, which is any chassis, any tire, any power adder, otherwise known as run what you brung and hope you brung enough type of thing. And then they did add a diesel open class this year, which I'm kind of interested to see. This would be for basically your diesels that don't fit in the Class A street truck class. And that could be pretty quick because there's getting to be some more and more of these kind of more racy, I'll say, diesel trucks around. So that could be very interesting too. Damian Bowers, I saw your hand was up there for a hot second.
Oh no, it wasn't up. I was doing something on my computer.
All right. No, that's good. All right. So that is going to wrap up, like I said, our very early Keys Peak preview. Next week should have some special guests on. We'll kind of flesh some stuff more out and talk some more about it. So, Caleb, take us on out.
All right, guys. Want to remind you guys to go over to worldsanddragnews.com and check out our photo tab where we've got galleries from the very beginning of World Sand Drag News till the 2025 season. You can head on there. We've got print options from smaller ones to fill out your physical photo albums. We've got large format ones if you want to get a big poster to put up in the garage, canvas prints, framed options. We got some really cool metal art prints as well. And you can pick up some digital ones so that you can go and put on your social media, go and take to your printer, do whatever you want with it. T-shirts, hats, you name it. Get some cool stickers for the trailer. Make sure you guys go ahead and check those galleries out. It's a great way to support World Sand Drag News and all that we do here.
All right, folks. So it's wrap up time on this episode of the Paddle Talk podcast, brought to you as always by our friends at Racing in the Dirt in Cleveland, Wisconsin. Look them up today, telephone, Facebook, or on the web as usual. So get a hold of Scott and Shane at the crew to get your 2025 race season off the ground and running strong. All right, so hot takes, gents. Am I leading this one off?
You're leading this one, Isaac.
All right, so here we go. We can put this somewhere into a rumor mill as well. I've been told that a track here in Michigan is probably purchasing a new timing system after some things that happened last summer.
Ooh,
Here's
I
what I'll
know.
say. If that's true, congratulations. I am super happy because it shows that one, you guys took it seriously when you got some feedback, and two, it makes your facility that much better. So, hats off to you. I hope you guys are really considering, and please, please, please buy a quality system, which leads me into my next thing. If you are out there and you have a system that maybe is not up to the task, can I encourage you look around at people that are doing this well and figure out what they're using? You owe it to yourself, you owe it to your racers. Do the right thing and let's find some common ground there, okay? But for everybody else out there, great job. Super happy with it. And yeah, really, really excited. I am at least a little bit. If this comes to fruition, that we see this timing system pop up in this other place. So
Totally.
there you go. All right.
Little bit of monkey business going on is what you're saying at this facility. Maybe is possibly
Just saying.
ape business, shall we say?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Yep. There we go.
Isaac, I think we've all been on the receiving end of timing system issues. I know we just spoke. Dave, you guys had issues in Florida. The reality is that those issues can come up with any timing system. I mean, we keep saying this. You're putting electronics in the dirt next to water, like
With a lot of vibrations.
Lots
What
of vibration
possibly go wrong?
stuff happens, right? This is just the reality of it. And it's something that maybe if you come from the pavement side of racing, you don't really understand because you don't have as many issues with it. It's because you don't have that water and dirt mixture along with the vibrations in there. And, a lot of times there's other facilities too where you have to go and, the track is a pop-up track. So that timing system travels from facility to facility and, it doesn't get permanently mounted anywhere.
Totally.
It's what happens. But I'm stoked that, they're looking to get, and Isaac, based upon what you're saying, could we assume maybe a porta tree? Maybe?
I don't know. I don't know what. I just know that they were having a meeting to discuss it and possibly vote on a purchase. So I don't know which system they were looking at. I didn't get that information, but I do know that they were making a move to step up to something. And you know what? I'm just happy for anybody that runs there all the time. This really
Totally.
does well. And here's what I would say to us racers that are out there, I would again preach patience and a lot of grace because it can happen any weekend. I don't care what facility it is, I don't care what pop up track it is, it can happen. And 9 times out of 10, it's not anything anybody did. It just is one of those things. Like Caleb said, we're mixing sand, we're mixing water, moisture, and a lot of vibration all together. And you know what? It happens. And kudos to the guys at Ken's race that Dave was at for making the best of it and figuring out a way to grudge race around it. I mean, that's fantastic. You guys filled the time, kept the audience involved. I mean, that's, we have to all be prepared for stuff like that to happen. It just is what it is at this point. So, and we know that it can happen. So if it does happen, we as racers just need to be on board with, hey, what can we do to help out the situation?
Totally.
Good deal. Who's got the next topic?
Do you have something, Dave? I don't know if I got any hot takes for this week.
How about
Damian?
this? It looked like everyone that was out there at Dome, I didn't hear, Dome with the PSDA race, I did not hear any complaints about the safety updates come out of that race.
Oh, how you would be wrong, Damian.
Oh.
How you would be wrong.
But that's just I've seen from where
there was
I'm
lots
sitting.
of gripes. I think everybody complied. I think a few people skirted around a little bit on some of the rules. That I would say that the two biggest ones, we didn't really see anything with the chassis stuff. The two biggest ones is the neck brace and the gloves. I feel like more people were okay with running the neck brace, even though some had to scramble to get with it, and some don't find it as comfortable to race, because they can't move their head quite as much, and depending on how they sit on their bike, might not be as comfortable.
Bracket racers.
Yeah, the glove rule, though, that still had some people peeved. Everybody the days I was there, that I saw, looked like everybody wore gloves of some type of protection. But I definitely heard from more than a few people that was one thing that they weren't super happy with.
Here's a hot take. I heard the next thing on the PSDA list is there's only going to be one wheelie bar change per pass per class, and also only 3 wingdings before you need to roll it into the staging beam. How's that action?
Dave, Isaac, you're joking about that, but I mean, when you look at Louisiana with as many people as they get, they kind of have to. I mean, they weren't quite putting people on the clock, but they kind of were. But at Dome, definitely ample time.
Because I'm not an ATV guy, but I would have to believe at some point in time, other people are like, good night, I'm sick of racing until 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Can we not move this show along a little quicker? And again, maybe I'm wrong, but golly, it does not seem like it takes an army every time.
There's definitely some teams that are a bit eccentric on how much they prep. Now, look, I get it. These bikes are rocket ships. I mean, we saw plenty of bikes running, low 3s. There's a bunch of them in the 2s now. I don't want to see one of those bikes go crooked. However, when you've got 3 or 4 guys up there placing the bike and clearing the steering or the wheelie bar,
packing the starting
winging
line.
it out, packing it at, adjusting the wheelie bar every single pass. Like there is a point where, all right, this is getting a little long in the tooth here, sitting and waiting.
I would think so, but hey, what do I know?
Agree.
Well, I know at South Georgia, we had 35 total of the Banshee style winger dingers, and some pretty fast ones. I got that. Now, Isaac, you got me saying winger dingers for whatever reason. But what I did is I just asked them, I said, hey guys, the staging lanes was really close to the starting line. I said, helmets on, be ready to go, fire it up there, drive it up to the line. And I got a little bit of guys like, what? But once they did it, they said they liked it because 1, the rider was ready. 2, by the time they got it there, the engine was warm enough. They just had to wing ding it a couple times and off they went. And those guys were fantastic at that race.
Right.
Could not have asked for anything any better. But Damian, do you have a topic or no? If you don't,
I'm good. I've said my piece.
All right, I've got one, and then we'll cut it from here, I'm sure. But how do I do this? It's a side-by-side thing, of course. John, geez, Pete, Billy and John and I have talked, John Sorg, Billy Teeters, about the race coming up here in 2026 out there at Dome. What is it? East versus West, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're also talking about this at Shelton's at Billy and I's race, or Billy and World Sand Drag News race. The guys with the bad boy side-by-sides, you better get them ready because we got something for you.
There we go.
Oh boy.
Be ready to race. Race. We're not going to be.
What race? What's that, Dave?
We are racing. Yes, we're going to. I can't get into everything just yet. I want you guys to be patient. Give us a couple weeks. We're going to have it out there. but it will be a race. If you guys got the baddest machines in the country, let's prove it. You got two places you're going to be able to do it this year. It's going to be a race. You're going to be, hopefully, very surprised at what we're coming up with. So bear with us, but that's the hot topic that will be talked about in the next few weeks again.
Very cool.
Yeah, no more singles. Boys better be ready to line them up.
I love it. I love it. No more, as Mr. Blaine Kilby over at KCD would say, no more qualifying all by yourself. It's time to get it on and race the guy in the other lane. So I love it.
That
Sounds
is correct.
all
And
right.
also, those same guys too, there's going to be other classes that you can get in as well. So it's not just that, but we are definitely doing something for you guys. So just bear with us as we get it together.
Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Great. All right, folks. So that is going to wrap up episode 62 of the Paddle Talk podcast. For myself, Damian Bowers, Caleb Mings, Dave Applegate Jr., and everybody here at World Sand Drag News, thanks for watching. We appreciate the support. And hey, last but not least, buy our sponsors' stuff if you want to keep seeing us on here. Plain and simple. Damian, take us out with a photo plug. Oh, I did it again.
Twice tonight.
Dang it, Isaac. All right. I'm sorry. I can't do a Damian accent for it. I wish I could. That would be fun. But guys, not only buy our sponsors stuff, but buy our stuff too. Go on to our photo tab on worldsandragnews.com and check out all the galleries that we have on there from races across the U.S. Check it out. Buy a digital download of your photo so you can have that for your social media, for your race team stuff. Go and get some of our print options there, something cool for the shop, for the trophy case, for something to give to your friends and say, hey, this is what I do. It's a great way to support us and to keep us going out there and continuing to support the sport.
And one.
All right. In 3, 2, 1. Good evening or good day or good afternoon, everyone. It's time for the Paddle Talk podcast, episode 62, and we've got some great content for you. We're going to introduce you to our friends down at the Southeast DOT series. We're going to wrap up the race and do a recap of the Sam Suda, Florida race from Mr. Ken Donaldson. Yes, Damian Bowers.
Satsuma.
Satsuma? All right. In 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, welcome to the episode 62 of the Paddle Talk podcast from World Sand Drag News. Joining me this evening, Damian Bowers, Caleb Mings, and Dave Applegate. Got a great show for you this week. We've got race recap and wrap up from the Satsuma, Florida race from Mr. Ken Donaldson. We also are going to introduce you to our new friends down at the Southeast DOT Dirt and Mud Drag Series, as well as a very early Keys Peak Hill Climb preview, along with some hot takes. It's going to be a great show. Stay tuned. Damian Bowers, Caleb Mings, Dave Applegate joining me. All of this brought to you by Racing in the Dirt, Cleveland, Wisconsin. Area code 920-693-2000. Find them on Facebook, or you can find them on their own website, racinginthedirt.com. As always, helping us bring you the best podcast out there when it comes to dirt, mud, sand, you name it. We are on and ready to roll. So, gentlemen, let's dive right in.